Hello, guys. Welcome to your market report for Friday, the 11th of May, 2018. Now, listen, glad to have you guys here. First thing I want to talk about is silver. Now, let's start the charts right here. Okay, so now what I want to get on about silver, let me get the thing down so you can see the chart here. Silver is making its way up. This was anticipated by me because I saw what the moves the dollar was making. Also, I saw the moves in the price of oil coming. Now, I particularly expect that oil production is going to start to increase, albeit slowly. So this is going to level things off in a little bit in the longer term, but it might take a little while for oil production to catch up. It depends on how quick those guys can get out there and uncap those wells and get those wells pumping out there in West Texas, now that the oil prices went up. But there's another factor to all of this, and that's if war breaks out in the Middle East. That'll cut off a lot of supply if serious war breaks out in the Middle East. And if that happens, then production might not be able to keep up, which means we'll see an increase in the price of oil. It'll be sustained. A serious increase in the price of oil. I mean, it could top $100 a barrel if we get serious war in the Middle East. And West Texas will try to catch up with that. They'll try to equal out that supply, but they can't. No matter how many wells they drill in West Texas, and no matter how much they throw into it, they're not going to be able to compete if all of the OPEC nations stop pumping because there's a huge war in the Middle East. It just won't cover. Not only that, they'll be using an awful lot of oil if there's a huge war in the Middle East, you know. War uses an awful lot of supplies and things. It takes an awful lot of money to fire up the war machine. And so we could be seeing that. So that's something that's coming into play. But let's say war doesn't happen in the Middle East. Say we don't get a war in the Middle East. Well, then this increase in the oil supply, West Texas is probably going to taper it off after a while, and it's probably going to settle back down again after these new wells that they're going to bring online will get online. But the effect that this is having on the silver price is to bring the silver price back up to $17. Because as you see the oil price go up, that means how much oil can you buy with $1, right? So let me do a simple example. If oil is $50 a barrel, right? That means $1 is worth $50. If you got a $50 bill, it's worth 1 barrel of oil. But if the oil price goes up to $75, that means your dollar is not worth 1 barrel of oil anymore. It's only worth 3/4 of a barrel of oil. Because your dollar is only worth oil. Your dollar is priced, oil is priced in the dollar, and dollar is priced in the oil. So if we took the extreme example of that, if oil went to $1,000 a barrel, it means your dollar would only be worth a tiny fraction of what it's worth now. Now, the Chinese are cutting these chains of dollar based in oil. And the dollar is going to, for the first time ever, become a fiat currency. Do you know what's going to happen to the dollar when it really becomes a fiat currency? Only backed by good faith? The dollar is going to become absolutely worthless. Because that's what happens to all fiat, real, true fiat currencies. Fiat currencies meaning that they're not backed by gold. They're not backed by anything. They're not backed by oil. They're not backed by silver. They're only backed by decree. That's what a fiat currency is. Fiat currency becomes worthless because decrees are worthless. And all these people out there have been saying that the dollar is a fiat currency. They're kidding themselves. The dollar's backed by oil. That's why it's called a petrodollar. But it's going to be a fiat currency. The Chinese are going to see to it. And there's no stopping the Chinese at this point. They've pulled the plug on the dollar. They've decided to kill the dollar, and they're in the process of killing it right now. And for you guys who got dollars in the bank, you better pay attention to what I'm saying. Because, okay, it's not immediate, but you're going to be feeling the effects of it over the next year or two. And the effects are going to be seriously erode the buying potential and the buying power of the dollars you have in the banks. So you better get out of those suckers. And this is what you get into. You get into stuff like silver. But you can't get into the exchange-traded funds. You got to get into the real physical stuff. And so you got to do a little bit of a learning curve here. How and where to buy it, how to store it, whatever, right? But it's a little bit of a learning curve, but you got to go through this process. Because if you don't, everything that you've worked for your whole life depends upon you learning this learning curve. Now, cryptocurrency is going to be a great place to store your money too. Once cryptocurrency goes through the transition it's going to go through very soon, it's going to make a transition from being a speculative investment into a safe haven asset. And it's going to make that transition probably within the next 2 years. That's not long. 2 years is not long. It'll have fully made the transition, I believe, within the next 2 years. And incredible things are going to happen with cryptocurrency. And there's fortunes to be made in cryptocurrency coming up. Now, here's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. It's a strange subject, but I just went through my head last night. I just thought about it and just went through my head, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I had a question that went through my head. Which grows faster, my beard? Does my beard grow faster, or does the hair on the top of my head grow faster? Right? So I got a pair of clippers here that'll cut things short. I'm going to shave my beard with them right down short. I'm going to shave my head with the same clippers, so all the same length. Heck, I might do it on cam. Might shave them down on cam, just for the hell of it, right? And I'm going to watch it every day. I'm going to come on here every day. You know, I'm on here every day. And I'm going to see which is longer after about a month. The top of my head or my beard. Which one is longer? I'm not going to cut them for like about a month. Or maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to see which one grows faster. I'm interested. I'm just curious about this. Which one grows faster, my beard or the hair on the top of my head? It's going to be a contest between my beard and hair on the top of my head. Anyway, that's a different subject. But I'll be coming on here every day. You can watch and you can see which one grows faster. Hey, you guys care to make bets on which one's going to grow faster? It's funny. We're going to see which one grows faster. I'm curious. I'm very curious as to which one's going to grow faster. Anyway, let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. Here's the thing about Bitcoin. Is she's had a big drop-off. She's had a big drop-off. I'm going to tell you, NVIDIA and the Mt. Gox trustee. These are the two things that's causing this monster drop-off today in Bitcoin. And I'm going to tell you what, both things I think are fairly unfounded. I don't think there's much to either one of these things that's dropping it down. So I tend to think that she's going to find a bottom. It's probably not going to be too much longer from now. It's going to find a bottom, and she's going to bounce. So today, if you're interested in cryptocurrency, today is you're going to see a little bounce in the next few days. But don't get cocky with this stuff. I'll tell you why not to get cocky with it. Just because you're going to see probably a little bounce in price. Because NVIDIA, their cards, they announced that their sales are going to drop off on their cards. And their cards are used for mining. You're going to... You also... The second thing is there's talk about the Mt. Gox trustee, the whale, dumping a whole bunch more Bitcoins into the market. So these two factors have come together to drop the price from $99.49 all the way down to $85.03 where it stands right now. Or $85.63 or $85.67 where it stands right now. And this is a substantial drop in price. Now, in the short term, I think this price is going to rebound. But why I say not to get too cocky with Bitcoin is, I think when the stock market crash comes later, in a few months down the road, I think you're going to see a massive crash in the Bitcoins. and the Bitcoin price. But it's going to be the last crash before we're going to go in later. After the stock market starts to come back again, we're going to go into a Bitcoin bull market like you've never seen before. But that's after a Bitcoin crash. So we're going to have to go through a crash first before we go into a bull market. And what does that mean? It means you're going to have a superior, the buying opportunity of a lifetime, in other words, is coming. Of course, all of you people, it's my viewers out there, you're going to know when I think we're in this buying opportunity, and I'm waiting for it. Keep your powder dry. But right now, today, with Bitcoin down on the ropes for no good reason, because of NetVidya and because of Mt. Gox trustee, these seem lame to me. Seem to be lame reasons why Bitcoin would fall this much. And in the short term, I could see Bitcoin rebounding. And so this might be a little bit of a chance to, if you're a short-term trader and you want to see a little bit of quick gains. I mean, this is not investment advice, but I mean, it's just something that probably is going to happen. A little bit of a down today and bounce tomorrow, or bounce this week later, as sort of thing, you know. I mean, but don't count on anything when it comes to Bitcoin. Don't count on what I'm saying, because Bitcoin is one unpredictable beast, and I don't want to see you lose your money, you know. So that's why I'm telling you to be careful when you're dealing with Bitcoin. Very unpredictable currency. It always has been. But I can see a little bit of a bounce coming, probably back up into the 9,000s from 85.54 right now. It could go down a little bit lower. I don't pay a whole lot of attention right now to Bitcoin because I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the big crash. I'm waiting to buy in at the bottom, and then I'm waiting for the big bull market that's going to come after the big crash in Bitcoin. I'm waiting for that. That's what I'm waiting for. Bonds and rates today, we're seeing a mixed bag. The long bonds are falling, and the short bonds are raising. This is going to make a flat yield curve if this continues. Now, the cryptocurrency market capitalizations, right here. Right now, we're looking at massive drops in some of these coins. This is fantastic for buying. Oh, Litecoin, 138 bucks. Oh my gosh, I gotta get one of them. I gotta get one of them. I can't let that go. I gotta get one. Litecoin, $138 today. That's fantastic. I don't care. I just EOS, $14. Oh my gosh, it's dropped 19%. Oh, isn't that wonderful? You can pick some of those up. Bitcoin Cash, 1363. What a bargain. Bitcoin Cash is down 17%. Oh, these are some of the big buys right now. Big buys. Okay, so the big buys right now are Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Litecoin, Cardano, and Stellar. And so is IOTA. They're all bargains. They're all bargain prices today. Now, looking at oil. Oil is down 10 cents, which is nothing much. It's up at 71.39. It's down just enough to make silver tip just a little bit. Now, take a look. Look at the end here on silver. Like it hasn't posted any more gains. It's slowed it down because the oil price is slowed down. I'm going to tell you, most people out there do not understand how the correlationship between the oil price and the dollar works. And I'm going to tell you, you can watch it. If you watch it, watch what's happening in this thing. You see that the dollar is related, and the dollar, a correlationship between it and gold and silver price. I'm going to tell you, when the final end comes for the dollar, the sky is the limit for how high gold and silver can go. The sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. You will not want to trade for dollars in the end. Ultimately, when the dollar goes down the pooper. Take a look at Venezuela. How much is an ounce of gold worth against the Venezuelan currency at this point? Millions. Millions. Okay? So let's see. Have we taken a look at everything already? No, we didn't take a look at the Dow. What's the Dow doing today? Okay, we got to expand the charts. Grab the wrong spot here. Okay, here we go. It's up 10. Oh, that's at close. What time is it exactly? 10:33. It should be up. I got a refresh here. It should be on. It's 3 minutes after the time it should be on. Refresh the screen. Market open. There we go. It's up 12 points. Now, I am not expecting the Dow to break free of the two range that it's running at. First off, there's resistance at 25.7. I'm not expecting it to go too much above resistance. And there's also there's support down at 2300, and I'm not expecting it to go too much below that. So it's running at this. It's running in this range, and it's just going to continue to keep doing that as long as the bond market's not moving much. And so let's take a look at the bond market today. Bond prices today they're not much movement. So you can expect not much movement in the stock markets right now. So we're in a strange little period here, post-war, not post-war, but pre-war. I gotta call it pre-war, because honest to goodness, I think they're gonna get a war going in the Middle East. I really do. I don't think they're gonna solve this thing with Bashar al-Assad. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. Assad. I don't think they're going to solve this thing with Assad, because one side's absolutely determined to get rid of Assad, and the other side is absolutely determined to keep him in power. They will fight World War III over this if they have to. And this is a dividing issue. But Russia, at the same time, if things get going and things get too heated, they're thinking to themselves, hey, you know what? If everything really heats up in the world and really wars start and the world starts to come to calamity, we're going to sneak into Ukraine, take it. We'll sneak in and take it when nobody else is looking. This is probably what they're thinking to their heads. This is why they're keeping those troops stationed there. But if they think that they can sneak in and take that country without causing one big stir of trouble, they're sadly mistaken, because this is going to add to the situation tremendously. I mean, and I can see the whole world just basically falling to pieces right in front of our eyes come later this year. Everything's setting up for it. And the thing is when I say fall apart, I mean fall apart to the extent where you see what the people in Venezuela have been going through. The people right here in America and in Canada here where I live are going to be going through the same problems. You're going to have a hard time finding food. You're going to have to go from say you want to make a spaghetti. You go to one grocery store, you get all the ingredients. When this crisis hits later this year, you're going to have to go to one store and they're going to be out of tomato sauce. This is how it's going to be. But they'll have noodles. So you'll be able to buy the noodles there, and you have to go to a different store to get your tomato sauce. And they'll still have a bit of tomato sauce. And you might have to fight some other lady because there's only 10 cans left. And she wants all 10 cans. You know, and you're like, why are you being so greedy? And she's filling her cart with tomato sauce, and there's only 10 cans left, and you just want one can. You have to fight with her. And she says, finally, in the end, she'll give you one can that she already had put in her cart. This sort of a thing. And then have to go to a different store to get your meat, just to make your spaghetti. But you probably will be able to make your spaghetti. And the thing is the world's going to stay running, but it's just going to be running by a thread. And it's a good thing we actually got Donald Trump in office, because he's good at these crisis situations. He's went through crises with his business, where his businesses have went bankrupt over and over again. And he's a fighter. And he's going to get in there, and he's going to do what he can to try to make things so that it's palatable. He's going to keep He will, in other words, if certain parts of our country start to disintegrate into anarchy, he will bring in the National Guard and he will bring in the military and actually restore law and order with military force in places like cities and stuff. So that there will be law and order, and he will keep the trucks going. Donald Trump will keep the trucks going so that you will have deliveries to your grocery store, but you're not just going to be able to go in and get everything you want like it is now. You're going to have hard times. It's going to be like, they might even go back to rationing things and giving out ration stamps for things like sugar. You know, we're gonna go through a period of hard times. And during this period, you're going to see gold and silver prices absolutely go through the roof. And you're going to see the dollar's buying power go down to nothing, ultimately, in the end. And are you prepared for this? Because this is coming, and it's coming fast, guys. I'm telling you, I see everything setting up for this coming later this year, before the end of this year. We could actually be at war. And I'm talking about serious war. I'm talking about Russia invading Ukraine. I'm talking about Russia fighting directly with the United States in Syria, and Iran right in there launching missiles at Saudi Arabia, and Arabia launching missiles at Iran, and Israel right in there bombing and running bombing runs, and the whole thing just disintegrating. Oil lines being blown up, and oil supplies being cut off to the United States, and oil prices soaring to you won't even be able to drive, and there'll probably be rations for gasoline rations, and you won't even be able to drive. If you got an SUV, you'll be like taking it out once a week just to get your groceries, because you can't afford to drive it any more than that. We're talking about hard times coming, guys. The whole world disintegrating into a mess for about a year, or maybe a year and a half, before we finally they settle peace again and things get back to normal. But on the other side of this, cryptocurrencies are going to be the world currency. They're going to make it through all of this, and cryptocurrency is going to become the new money. And this chaos that's coming is what's going to drive this change. It's going to be massively chaotic. And if your only thing you have is dollars in the bank, you're going to get absolutely destroyed. You'll be a street person. If you really want to be a street person, you got to get diversified. And you got to do it now. You start diversifying, start learning how to diversify, and start figuring out how this is done. Because just a small amount, silver is so cheap right now, just a small amount of silver in your own possession is so important to have, even if it's only a little bit, even if you've only got just a handful. You're better off than your neighbor who ain't going to have anything. His bank account's going to be worth nothing practically, you know, and you just got that one handful of silver. It's going to be worth its weight in gold. Basically, I believe personally that in the next 10 years, you're going to see the price of silver go so high, it's worth what gold is now. And so you'll be so glad that you bought it. All you got to do is HODL it. You know how all these crypto guys out there are HODLing? Well, you got to HODL the silver, the real physical. That's what you got to do. You got to be stubborn. You got to hang in there and wait until the price of it goes to the moon. So listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next show.